Good morning, ASEAN. Freshen up your world, your thought, and your idea with us every weekday from 7:30 to 8 a.m. I'm Patsurang Desha Putharangsi.
And I'm here with you, Nirasha Malisak-Lumie, and today is Tuesday, 9th of July already, 2013. And here, let's start with the local news in Thailand, with the Bank of Thailand, or BOT, is whipping up competition in the industry to toughen up local players so that they can help with the ASEAN economic community. According to Greg Wanikun, or BOT Deputy Governor for Financial Institution Stability, said yesterday that from 2013 to 2014, BOT will invite new foreign banks to step in and is relatively confident that the banks are strong in the area and should strengthen more by enhancing competition. On the face of the central bank's financial sector master plan, the BOT is accepting applications from last Tuesday until December 30th from foreign banks that want to form banking subsidiaries. According to the blueprint for the industry, from 2010 to 2011, foreign banks were allowed to prepare for participation, and from 2012 to 2013, existing foreign banks were allowed to set up subsidiaries with licenses. This year, licenses will be awarded to 5 banks. Local commercial banks were resilient because they are stuck with traditional banking, mostly lending, and serve the real business sector. And Gerg said that banks do not create the CDOs or collateralized debt obligations or CDS or credit default swap for those who come for speculation. Really is good as it strengthens everyone's competitiveness. The issue presently is household debt. The central bank has asked banks to disclose their interest rates for residential purposes clearly to their customers.
According to Tourism Malaysia Director for Singapore, tourist arrivals from Singapore between January to May this year recorded consistent growth over the same period of last year. To date, Mr. Noor Air Ismail said Malaysia has received a total of 5.2 million tourist arrivals from Singapore, an overall increase of 11.5% in arrivals. Last year, the country welcomed about 13.01 million tourists from Singapore, a drop of 2.75% from 2011. She said that the drop was mainly due to the change in statistics calculation, which is based on country of origin instead of country of residence. The Visit Malaysia Year 2014 campaign announced earlier this year aims to showcase the diversity in culture, traditions, and heritage, as well as to promote Malaysia as a premier destination with more attractions and destinations. Meanwhile, the Tourism Authority of Thailand projects the number of foreign tourists and the revenue earned from them to rise next year. Foreign arrivals are forecasted to hit 28 million, an increase of 7% from 2013 projection of 24.5 million. Tourism revenue next year is projected at 1.32 trillion baht, up 13% from this year's estimate of 1.14 trillion baht. It projects revenue from domestic tourism in 2014 to increase 9% to 700 billion baht. Thai tourists next year are expected to take 176 million trips, up from 107 million forecast for the year. These projections were made after the TAT's 5-day annual workshop held at Bangsan, Chonburi last week, while about 300 TAT employees discussed the national tourism outlook to map out a direction for next year. Their conclusions were presented yesterday to the private sector by TAT Governor Surapon Sretseni and his deputies. But private firms welcomed the outcome of the workshop. However, they said the TAT should be cautious with its action plan because the industry is sensitive to factors that could affect foreign arrivals and tourist spending.
And Vietnam Plus reported that petroleum, steel, and iron account for the biggest portions of Vietnamese exports to Laos. The two-way trade between Vietnam and Laos was estimated to have reached to $520 million in the first half of 2013, 11.6% higher than expected. In the Jan-May period, bilateral trade reached $434 million, up 5.6% year-on-year. Of this, exports from Vietnam to Laos were worth $205.4 million, up 16.5% against last year. A total of $56.3 million was spent on steel and iron, $43.6 million on petroleum, and $14.9 million on vehicles and spare parts, and $13 million on electrical wires and cables. Export from Laos to Vietnam reached $228.4 million in the first 5 months, down 2.6% year-on-year. The major import commodity was wood, worth $147.6 million and accounting for 64% of the total import value. According to Tran Bao Diem, trade consular at the Vietnamese embassy in Laos, is expected that Vietnam-Laos bilateral trade will touch $1 billion this year. He pledged that the two countries would do their best in the second half of the year to support enterprises and speed up trade promotion to reach the ambitious target. A Vietnam-Laos trade fair will be held from July 18 to 22nd in Vientiane, with more than 300 Vietnamese booths displaying household electronic products, industrial machinery, agriculture, forestry and fishery products, garments and clothes, processed food, wooden products, handicraft, pharmaceuticals, and medical equipment. The fair will be held to promote Vietnam's image and Vietnamese brands, contributing to further trade between the two countries. And among the countries that neighbor Vietnam, Laos has been named as a particularly attractive destination for Vietnamese investors who are looking to do long-term business in the region. The Ho Chi Minh City Investment and Trade Promotion Center, or ITPC, and the Laos Consulate in Ho Chi Minh City recently held a conference to introduce investment opportunities in the Laos market and promote trade and tourism in the country. Vietnam has a lot of potential to penetrate the market, according to the ITPC director Pho Nam Phong. He said that as a great number of overseas Vietnamese live and work there.
Let's take a look at how should Luxembourg be taking its role in Thailand as well as ASEAN. Listen to the ambassador of Luxembourg to Thailand in this special report.
Luxembourg, or the Grand Duchy of Luxembourg, is a small landlocked country in Western Europe, bordering Belgium, France, and Germany. The country is a member of the European Union, NATO, OECD, the United Nations, and Benelux, reflecting the political consensus in favor of economic, political, and military integration. In terms of the bilateral relationship between Thailand and Luxembourg, both countries have maintained good relationship. Thailand is keen to enhance its relations with Luxembourg, particularly on financial matters. Luxembourg is also supporting regional integration in ASEAN as well.
So first of all, can you please tell us about the current bilateral relationship between Thailand and Luxembourg?
Yeah, I'm very glad to say that the relations between Luxembourg and Thailand are excellent in the sense that there are no problems in our relations. So that being said, I would perhaps appreciate if we would have more regular high-level political contacts. But in 2009 we celebrated the 50th anniversary of the diplomatic relations between both countries, and we had a lot of exchange of visits. And our Minister of Foreign Affairs met 1 year ago in Brunei in the margins of an ASEAN conference. But also on the trade level, so we are doing well, but we could do better, but we are working on this. So mainly in the trade of services. Last year, the Luxembourg Surveillance Commission of the Financial Sector and the Securities Exchange Commission of Thailand have signed an agreement of cooperation, and we had a visit of representative of the Luxembourg fund industry in Thailand. So we are working on developing our relations also in the financial sector. So but there is a lot of work ahead.
What about in terms of ASEAN? How do you see?
Luxembourg as a small country, was a founding member of the European Union and also of a lot of other international organizations like the United Nations. And by the way, we are now this year for the first time in our history a non-permanent member of the Security Council of the United Nations. So Luxembourg was always looking for bigger spaces as a small country, and was always in favor of regional integration. And as such, Luxembourg is supporting all the efforts of regional integration in all the parts of the world, in Europe, where we are members of the European Union, but also in Asia. And we are supporting all the efforts undertaken at the level of the Southeast Asian states in order to cooperate together. And at the same time, we are also trying to cooperate between the regional groupings. So we are supporting very much the good relations between ASEAN and the European Union. Our Minister of Foreign Affairs is attending all the meetings at ministerial level, and even our Prime Minister, if I may simply underline this, he is, I think, the only head of government who has attended the 9 ASEM summit, ASEM being the Asia-Europe meeting.
In terms of recently development between Luxembourg and ASEAN, any business opportunities, investment plan, anything that Luxembourg eyes on ASEAN right now, since it's going to be implemented in 2015?
There are no special initiatives which are underway. So we have, as a small country, only some few big players who can be present worldwide and who can also be present in Southeast Asia. Some of those companies, Luxembourg businesses, are present in Southeast Asia, having their headquarters in different countries, mainly in Singapore. And they are naturally following very closely the development of Asian integration and also the 2015 Asian Economic Community. So, we are also working, as you know, together between Thailand and the European Union on a free trade agreement, which could also cover investments. And as a small country, we are also always in favor of large cooperation, also in trade matters and international investments. So we hope with those negotiations, when they are coming to a good end, that we are creating the framework for developing further our economic relations, also in the ASEAN region.
Coming up next after the break, let's update together on Myanmar issues, including Myanmar has jailed 2 Buddhists for riot murders. Stay tuned.
Well, Myanmar government has sentenced 2 Buddhist men to 7 years in prison for the murder cases during the religious violence in March. The defendants were convicted after separate trials at the district court in Mektila for their part in deadly rioting in the town, which mainly targeted Muslims and sparked waves of religious unrest across the country. Mektila district chairman of Tin Mong So said one man, aged 24, was sentenced on June 28, becoming the first Buddhist known to be sentenced for a serious offense over the rioting, which left at least 44 people dead. He said that he was found at the scene where some people were killed during the unrest in Mektila. That is why he was charged with murder. He said a second suspect, aged 21, was handed sentences of 7 years and 1 year with hard labor to be served concurrently on Friday for his part in the killings. Thousands of local Muslims were driven from their homes during the violence as Buddhist mobs torched their whole neighborhoods, destroyed shops and damaged mosques. Human rights groups have accused the police of being slow to stop the killings, while activists have called on authorities to fully investigate and prosecute those responsible. At least 10 Muslims have so far been handed jail terms for serious offenses during the rioting. And in May, 7 Muslims were sentenced to between 2 and 28 years for their parts in the murder of a Buddhist monk in Mektila. The violence was apparently initially triggered by a quarrel in a gold shop, and 3 Muslims, including the business owner, were jailed for 14 years in April for assaulting a Buddhist customer. State media recently said 49 people were on trial for murder, with scores more facing court for their roles in the unrest. Tin Mong So concluded that the other cases are still ongoing and still under investigation.
And according to Malaysians official media yesterday, a total of 159 Myanmar migrant workers have returned to Yangon from Malaysia over the last 3 days for safety after being attacked in Kuala Lumpur. They returned by free flights offered by Myanmar Airways International (MAI) and Air Kanbauza has brought the total number of the returnees to 7,827 in Malaysia, where they will offer jobs for garment factories, restaurants, electronics and related fields, construction sites, automobiles assembling, hotels and driving. Ministry of Labour say that employment and social security officials say that Malaysia organized interview between employers and workers returning from Malaysia and willing to explore employment there. There are more than 400,000 Myanmar migrant workers in Malaysia. According to the Myanmar embassy, about 300,000 are legal workers, while about 40,000 people are illegal and about 90,000 people are in various process of applying for refugee status.
Singapore is helping Myanmar public hospitals introduce palliative care to its patients in order to help relieve the suffering of the terminally ill. Well, Singapore philanthropic house, the LIEN Foundation, is contributing 1.8 million Singaporean dollars to develop palliative care initiatives in 4 of Asia's poorer countries. Well, one of the patients in Yangon General Hospital was encouraged to consume more vegetables and fresh juices so that she will get healthier. They will also help to ease her suffering a little. She seems happy to hear those words and say she feels better when such things are said. So that care and concern produce a feeling of well-being that is usually beyond the ability of drug prescriptions alone, and medical professionals and carers want to leverage such results by introducing palliative care. The LIEN Foundation initiative hopes to train about 30 doctors and nurses in better understanding what palliative care is and how to roll it out in a sustainable manner. According to Dr. Cynthia Goh, chairperson of the Asia-Pacific Hospice Palliative Care Network, here is something which is low-tech, which is easily available and cheap, that we can do it right now. For example, a radiotherapy machine costs about $1 million US, and you need to set it up and you need to have the manpower to run it. But we already have the doctors and nurses on wards looking after the patients. She said, we just improved their capabilities. Well, Professor Mien Tong, Secretary General of the Myanmar Medical Association, said even the end stage of diseases nowadays, people, they want to be hospitalized for the end of their days. They don't want to keep the patients in their house because they cannot look after them, so there are people demanding the final care or palliative care or tender loving care by the healthcare providers. They want a compassionate way of treating and looking after the patients in the hospital or in the clinic as well. Well, in some of the public hospitals in Myanmar, palliative care is almost non-existent, and understandably so, because these patients will have other concerns in their minds, such as the cost of their medical bills, what kind of treatment they'll be receiving, and also who will be taking care of their families once they pass on. It is precisely because of these reasons that palliative care is necessary in order to help these patients alleviate their pain and manage their stress as they approach the end of their lives.
And in World Within today, we're going to have a look at the Ayurawat way of living, another way to stay healthy and younger without any medication. In a rainy season like this, many people are getting sick, but the best remedy to cure ourselves is to rest well and drink plenty of water to allow our body to fight with the viruses. And this way is called Ayurawat way of healing. What is this way? Let's find out in Well Within, a program that will update everything you need to know about health from top to toes and from the inside through the outside.
This method is applied in Thailand for almost 10 years and is found by Dr. KRISDA SIRAMPUCH. The method is using the food that we eat every day as medicines to help fight with viruses.
Well, the Ayurawat way is for about 10 years old in Thailand now. It is the thing that invented by the Thai people, for the Thai people, and for all community in our global community about the health. It's the healthcare way that we're doing to just for the good health from inside out. not just only skin depth or not just only using the vitamin, the pills, the medicine. Our concept is the less medicine is the better. The main things about the Ayurawat medicine is that we consist of the thing that people can do, because our baseline is to have the people as their own patient. To have the people as their own physician. Right. Yeah. So that's why we use the thing that the people can do it and practice it by themselves. Just going inside the kitchen and pick up some fruit and food inside and make it as your medicine. Just open the refrigerator, and in your fridge you have the food that can kill and that can heal. Yeah, that is the Ayurawat way.
The Ayurawat theme is about reviving the youth in you by yourself. According to Dr. KRISDA, the method is based in a 3H schemes.
It comprises of the 3 main methods. The first H is a healthy diet and lifestyle. Yeah, this one is the mainstream of our life. Yeah, Ayurawat used the healthy diet as the 5 portions of greens a day, or 5 portions of green vegetable a day. Yeah, yes, 5 portions is around 3 to 5 part of kilograms or half kilograms per day. Yeah, this one is a healthy diet and lifestyle, and the second H is healthy mind. The healthy mind is the key one of our life. As you know that, yes.
Think positive?
Think positive is one way. That way you know already. I know that, yeah. But for the Ayurawat, we will talk about more in depth about that. After we have the positive thinking, we'll talk about the spiritual way as well, such as the, okay, I will use this as a sample, and I think it will make you ring the bell. Firstly, we choose the thing that the patient have faith in it, such as if he or she is a religious person, we use the religion therapy. Yes, and if he or she love in the lifestyle of singing or do a recreational activity, we use the music therapy. Yes, it's a spiritual way and customized or personalized in each person's lifestyle to suit them. Yeah, in each way, because we think that each people have their own special. The third one is healthy weight.
Healthy weight?
Yes, right. Healthy weight, yes. If you would like to stay young, or even the people in the old age would like to stay young or just rejuvenate them, the weight is a key method to just cope with this. If you stay just in the proper shape, not just too thin or not just too chubby. Yes, right. And that will make your internal body create the hormone in the balanced way. The youth hormone and the elderly hormone will just meet in between, and that is the best way.
In order to stay healthy, there are 2 miraculous ways to do, which is first, try to avoid carbs such as processed starch and white flour, and stay away from any sugary foods. This practice can be done anywhere and by any age. Simply pick one healthy menu and let your body absorb all nutrition from the food.
And who would know that the best medication is just only inside our fridge? It depends on what we're gonna pick. Eat well, rest well, sleep well. That's the way to a healthy lifestyle. And that's all the time we have for today. Stay tuned with us again. See you next week. For now, สวัสดีค่ะ
That's it for Good Morning ASEAN. We'll see you again, same time, same place, same channel. I'm พัชสุรังเดชาพุทธรังสี
อันนำนิรชามศักดิ์ละมีสวัสดีค่ะ
สวัสดีค่ะ